here. A lot of you know that I've been sewing since I was 16, and over those years I have used lots of tools to help me with my sewing. But since the internet, I have found a lot more tools and gadgets that I've told you about, and ones that I have found at first I thought were handy. Then I found actually I thought I don't use them. There's hardly any point in having them. And then I have some tools that if I start to sew, I have to have those tools near me. And so I thought I would go do it. I'm going to spread it over 2 vlogs. The 10 tools that I always feel I've got to have beside me. And I'll start with the first 7. And the first 5 tools that I have to have beside me, what do you call them? Tools, gadgets, whatever you want to call them. The first one I've actually got 2 of, and they are these. And this one is it's like a bodkin, what in my day, in my young days you'd call a bodkin, with a massive hole in it. And the other one, which I've just dropped in my tea, I've just dropped this one in my tea. This is a very similar one, but it's long. It's very long, and that's come in handy for a lot of other things. But this is the main one that I have. Sorry, I've got a dove or a pigeon or something, a wood pigeon, who at this time of night she always starts cooing. But anyway, this little bodkin comes in incredibly handy for when I'm doing when I've done overlocking, and you know you've got that long chain, you thread the overlocking thread through here and you push it back up the seam and it tidies up the overlocking thread. Really, really handy. It's got a nice blunt type of end, so you can push it through without piercing the fabric, and it's got a lovely big eyelet, so easy enough to get your thread through, your overlocking thread through. So that's number 1. Number 2, which I like to have, and I've told you about this one before, is your stitch unpicker. But it's the stitch unpicker has to have that little ball on the bottom, because the little ball helps you rip through fabric, and you don't do it that way. You don't do it that way, you do it that way. And the little ball stops you from ripping the fabric. So I'll show you how I do that. Just when you've sewn 2 pieces of fabric and you've made a mistake and you want to unpick it, this really comes in handy. This one in particular has it, if I can get it off. This comes like that, forms a little tube. That's a really handy one. I do have another one that I keep in my little box, very similar. It's got a finger part that you can use to hold, and a cap again, a little cap that protects it. This is the one that I tend to have without the cover on, so I can just quickly grab it when I want it. So that is the next one. The third one are these. These came with an overlocker that I bought, second-hand overlocker, and I find them incredibly handy. They're handy because they've got this bent bit, and when you're cleaning your overlocker, you can get into the little holes with the bent bit, and You can get right down and clean the fluff out and everything. But it's handy for other things when you're trying to take, when you're doing, say, the collars on sleeves, on the collars on shirts, and you want to get that point right into the corner of the collar, then you can use this to push it through. I find this, and it's got a nice spring, and the important thing is when you hold it like that, the points must come together. Otherwise, when you try to pull anything, it doesn't work. So this is another one. I have other ones that I use, but I don't find them as handy. This is another one, which is a straight up and down one. I like this one because it's got the curve on it, and I find that curve is very, very handy. Number 4. When I was watching videos of people sewing, especially from people from the Far East, they used several things. Now, one of the things that I use is this, a little pointy awl, and this actually came with the plastic popper box. You know, when you put plastic poppers on, this is what you pierce the hole through. This awl, and it's a pointy tool. And I use that when I'm sewing, just to help feed the fabric through. Another thing that I have, and I only started using this, I bought this the other week, and these are plastic tools where when you're sewing, you push along the fabric like that as you're sewing on the machine, and it helps to feed the fabric through. This one has little holes in it. They're all the same, a set of 4, they all have a hole in. That's quite good for when you want to use bias binding. And this little measurement here is a 1/4. I'm not sure why it's a 1/4. They're all the same, they're all quarter squares. That sometimes, I suppose, helps when you're wanting to keep your fabric a 1/4 of an inch away when you're feeding it through on the machine. But I just think I like the way this curve is on this one, because you can feed the fabric through. And what I shall do is I'll show you a video to let you see what I'm talking about. So these 4, I've just come across them. I find them really handy. You don't really need 4, you only need 1. I did have a 1. I think I got one free with a, not free, but you know, when I did the advent calendars at Christmas, a couple of years ago, one of these was in the advent calendar, and it's disappeared. I don't know where it's gone to. So I was absolutely desperately missing it. So I bought another set, and this set came in a little felt pouch with 4 in. Wasn't very expensive. I'll put these links down below where you can get them from on Amazon. I got them from Amazon, and they're quite handy, as I say, for a number of things. And this is another one that these are very similar to those ones. To these ones. Another 2 that I've got are these ones, which this is just like a plastic one. It's actually like for you can use them for when you're doing paper and you want to flatten the paper. And that one there, I think I got that one in an advent calendar sewing tools. That's another handy one as well. So those are 1, 2, 3, and the pointy tool, the pointy awl, are all handy for feeding your fabric on your sewing machine. The next one are these, and I've told you about these many a time before. They're a pair of pliers. They're actually from my jewellery when I used to make jewellery, and I find these, when you want to pull something through, it's hard, especially as you get older, to pull things through with your fingers. So I find these pliers are great for pulling a piece of thread, for grabbing a hold of something and turning it inside out. You've got a better grip when you hold it like that than you have trying to pull it with your fingers like that. So I always have to have a pair of pliers. Doesn't have to be this kind. These are spring loaded. They've got a little spring there in between that keeps them open all the time, like that. But I have another pair that isn't as spring loaded, but I've got to have a pair of pliers nearby because it doesn't half make a difference when you're doing something. This is also very good when, you know how when you get a nest at the underneath your needle, when your needle jams in the machine and you get a nest. Well, if you have a long pair of pliers like that, you can get a hold of the thread and pull it. And the other thing that I do is I have I have the thread, and then I cut it with scissors or with a little pair of snippers, and that gets the nest out from underneath the underneath the foot. So that's another good one. Now I've got two of these, and I'm not sure why I've got two. I think I must have lost one, but this is this one. It's a long rod with a little hook and flip thing on it, little foot type thing on it. And this is great for helping to thread things through tubes like this sort of thing, where you've got obviously it'll be longer than that. You can pick up whatever's at this end and pull it through like that. For example, I've got some bias binding here. This is stretch bias binding that I've got there, see? And if I wanted to push that through, if I wanted to draw it in, hook it on there like that, pull that through, and then drag it there, and that's really handy for shorter lengths. The other kind of things are handy, but this is really good for shorter lengths. It's also very good when you want to do very thin pieces of cord like this, and you basically hook it on and then draw it through and keep drawing gently through it, and eventually you will get it coming out the other side like that, and you can unhook it. This isn't used as often as other tools, but I do like to have it close by because it's sometimes very handy to use. And lastly, this is a new thing that I've come across, and I told you about it the other week. I find these incredibly handy. I do have pinking shears, but these ones are the they've got the curved effect on them. Don't know if you can see, if I can do it like that. Well, might that work? There, curved effect, little curves. I love these. A lot of times when I'm sewing, when I'm making crafty things, these little curves really set something off a lot better. And also you can, you know, just in the same way as pinking shears stops things from fraying, the rounded effect does as well, and it's handy for when you don't want any fraying on any fabric. So those are the other one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, and one more. Magnetize itself, the little bodkin. So that's 7 things. 7 things that I find very handy when I'm sewing. And I'm going to tell you next time what another 7 are that I find handy. And one of them in particular, you will not, no one in the sewing community, not that I know, because I found this myself, but nobody in the sewing community will have thought of this one. I've never seen it, and it came to me and I suddenly thought, oh, that is really handy. So watch the next time to find out which one that is. So I'm going to love you and leave you and catch you next time. Bye.